Good morning, students. How are you all? Fine. Okay, very good. Students, as usually, now is the session of economics. And in the previous sessions, we had completed the chapter Money and Banking. Almost all important topics and contents of that chapter I have discussed in video classes as well as in online classes. Okay, and I hope you might have studied, gone through all those topics and contents in detail and in something better way from your textbook. Okay, so I also hope that you may have done the probable questions, board model questions relating to all those topics of the chapter. Now, I would like to start the new chapter, the next chapter, and that is aggregate demand. Okay, and while starting that chapter, first of all, I would like to discuss the first topic of this chapter, and that is the meaning and components of aggregate demand. Okay, let us first define what is called aggregate demand. When we say aggregate demand, then it refers to the demand for all final goods and services by different sectors of the economy over a period of time at a given level of income and at a given price level. That means whatever goods and services the people of an economy are intended or have planned to purchase over a period of time will be called as aggregate demand. Or in more simpler way, you can say aggregate demand is sum total of the demand for all final goods and services produced in an economy over a period of time at a given level of income and at a given price level. Okay, students, so now let us see how this aggregate demand is expressed or how this aggregate demand is measured. You know, students, our demand is measured in terms of the expenditure made by us on goods and services. Therefore, the aggregate demand of an economy can also be measured in terms of the expenditures made by all people or different sectors of the economy on final goods and services over a period of time. Thus, the total expenditure made by different sectors of the economy, such as the expenditure made by household sector on final goods and services called as household consumption demand, such as the expenditure made by producing sector on assets, capital goods, etc., will be called as investment demand, such as expenditures made by the government sector on final goods and services for providing civil services or administrative net export demand. Okay, so you can say that aggregate demand is equal to household consumption demand plus investment demand plus government's demand plus net export demand. Let us discuss all these demands one by one. Okay, so long as the first component of aggregate demand that is household consumption demand is concerned, it refers to the demand for final goods and services made by household consumers. For what do they demand the final goods and services? The household consumers demand for final goods and services for the satisfaction of their different wants, for fulfillment of their different needs. Okay, and this household consumption demand depends on what? The household consumption demand primarily depends on the level of income, and secondly it depends on propensity to consume. Normally, higher is the level of income of the people, higher will be household consumption demand, and lower is the level of income, lower will be household consumption demand. So long as propensity to consume is concerned in the society and other services, then it will be called as government's demand. And the expenditure made by the foreign sector also on final goods and services will be termed as net export demand, or the demand by the foreign sector or rest of the world sector. So a student, we can define aggregate demand as the total planned expenditure or ex ante expenditure made by different sectors of the economy on final goods and services over a period of time at a given level of income and at a given price level. That shows aggregate demand of an economy. Okay, so I think it's quite clear to you all what is called aggregate demand. Now let us discuss the components of aggregate demand. The entire economy is classified into the 4 broad sectors, as we have studied in national income in expenditure method of national income also. What are these 4 broad sectors of an economy? These sectors are: number 1, household sector; number 2, producing sector; number 3, government sector; and number 4, foreign sector or rest of the world sector or external sector. So the components of aggregate demand will be something like this: the demand made by household sectors or willingness of the people to spend their income on consumption, and this propensity to consume is measured in terms of the expenditure, in terms of the proportion of income that is spent by the people on consumption. So higher proportion of income that is spent on consumption shows high propensity to consume, and lower proportion of income to be spent on consumption by household sector shows lower propensity to consume. Thus, if propensity to consume happens to be high, then household consumption demand will also be very high, and if propensity to consume is low, then household consumption demand will also be low. Okay, so basically there are 2 determinants. So students, the household consumption demand basically depends on the 2 factors. First is the level of income, and second is the propensity to consume. Okay, now so long as investment demand is concerned, it refers to the demand for goods and services, I mean for the assets, current as well as fixed assets, by the producing sector to produce other goods and services, other final goods and services. So, the expenditure made by producing sector on fixed assets as well as other assets to produce goods and services will be called as investment demand, right? It is also sometimes called as gross domestic capital formation. You might have studied in expenditure method of measuring national income. Okay, so long as investment demand is concerned, it depends on primarily the two factors. First is the rate of interest and second is the marginal efficiency of investment called MEI. The students, here it is assumed that the producing sector makes investment through borrowings, and when they borrow capital from somewhere, either from money market or from capital market, then they have to pay a certain rate of interest. Okay, whatever rate of interest is paid by them is called the cost of borrowings. And what about MEI? Sometimes it is also called MEC, marginal efficiency of capital. And in fact, it refers to the expected return from additional investment of capital. That means whatever the investor expects from investment of additional unit of capital is called MEI, marginal efficiency of investment, or MEC, marginal efficiency of capital. Okay, students. So long as MEI is greater than the rate of interest, the producing sector will keep increasing investment demand. That means they will keep investing. And if the rate of interest is higher than the MEI, then they will stop investment. Okay. So basically, investment demand in the economy by the producing sector depends on the two factors. First is the rate of interest and second is the marginal efficiency of investment. Okay. So long as the third component of aggregate demand is concerned, that is government's demand for final goods and services. Just try to understand why do the government demand goods and services. The government's demand goods and services, final goods and services for collective consumption or to be consumed by the community as a whole. As for example, for example, if the government constructs roads and bridges or something like this across different places of the country, that means the government will demand goods and services for construction of the roads that will be consumed by the society, by the community as a whole. Okay. So the government's demand for final goods and services is for collective consumption by the community, by the society as a whole. Okay. And the government's demand depends on prevailing socio-economic condition of the country, as well as it depends on economic policy of the government. Okay. So long as the last component of aggregate demand, that is net export demand, is concerned, it refers to the demand for final goods and services by the foreign sector. That is why it is also called external demand, right? Whether this external demand will be more or less, it depends on several factors such as terms and conditions of trade, such as the rate of exchange, such as the tariff policy of different countries, such as the custom duties imposed by different countries, such as the diplomatic relations between the countries, and on many more factors the net export demand depends. So, when we say aggregate demand, it refers to household consumption demand plus investment demand plus government's demand plus net export demand. And in short, it can be expressed as aggregate demand AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. That means C denotes household consumption demand here, I denotes investment demand here, G denotes government's demand here, and X minus M denotes net export demand here. But you know, students, the government's demand and net exports demand are various smaller parts of GDP. Therefore, they have been sublimed, they have been ignored in theoretical explanation of macroeconomics by taking into consideration aggregate demand. The theory whichever we are studying and we are going to study right now is basically given by John Maynard Keynes, and Keynes has assumed the government's demand and net export demand as very minimal, very negligible. Therefore, he considers only the two major components, household consumption demand and investment demand, as the larger components of the aggregate demand, as the main components of aggregate demand. Okay, students. So now let us see how does aggregate demand, when we say, then it will be equal to C plus I. That means in short, AD is equal to C plus I, that is consumption demand plus investment demand. You know, students, if you correlate this aggregate demand to the level of income, you will find that there is a direct relationship between the level of income and aggregate demand. And if you correlate aggregate demand with the price level, you will find that aggregate demand is inversely related to the price level. Thus, in relation to the level of income, the aggregate demand curve will be positively sloped, moving in upward direction